we are witnessing here is the return of Titans.
That's messed up.
Yeah, that's the majority of the movie right there. So Godzilla, King of the Monsters is directed by Michael Dougherty, and it's a direct sequel from the 2014 Godzilla movie, which had one of the best trailers that I think I've ever seen, where they had the halo jumpers jumping down onto Godzilla in the middle of a city. I thought that was really cool. In the 2014 movie Godzilla, a lot of people complained that there wasn't enough Godzilla, so in this movie they advertised it and marketed it as just a big fight scene with monsters, and they fulfill that need for all the people that complained about the first movie. This movie is just a big CGI slugfest between Godzilla and the other monsters around him, and it's just meant for the spectacle of seeing what they can create with CGI images these days, and it's a lot less about the drama, even though a lot of time is spent on it, and it's not always thought through all the way. This movie is mainly just about seeing these crazy, huge monsters fight each other and destroy cities. So the big question or dilemma in this movie that all the humans are kind of questioning about with all these titans rising is, should we let them live or die, or what's our role in this? And to me, that's a far less interesting question, because it seems pretty obvious to me that your priority is to save human life by any means, because that should be the goal for any of us. But for some reason, it's a big question for people. It's should we kill this huge, crazy animal that could, kill people? It's that just doesn't make sense to me why people would question that. It's way more interesting to me if you can't stop the animal like Godzilla or the other Titans, and now you're at, a really big, crossroads where, okay, crap, we can't do anything, so we have to, make sure that we utilize this. And it's kind of a lot more of, an escalation process, or, something like a nuclear warfare, process where it's we need to make sure that we have the upper hand. And that seems like a way more interesting concept to me. So I didn't really love the direction that they went. It's way more of a humanitarian, environmental thing, which I understand, but I just felt it's a lot less compelling than escalation is. And as far as the other human aspects of the movie go, we were mostly following around members of this broken family who have undergone a lot of loss since the last Godzilla movie. They weren't in the last Godzilla movie, per se, they weren't on the screen, but this movie kind of starts off with them searching for one of their family members and they can't find them. There's a lot of places that I felt like they could have gone to make these people seem more human, to have us connect with them more and feel more emotionally invested in this movie. And I felt like they just didn't really think them through all the way. My favorite character in the whole movie is Ken Watanabe, and you might recognize him from Inception. But he has a really cool relationship and understanding of Godzilla. There were also some really cool parts during the fighting with the CGI. I just thought that there were some very good shots that they were able to conjure up. I mean, it's not really a shot. They're making this on a computer. It's not necessarily they're really capturing this animal, because it's not real. But I thought it was really cool. I like some of the shots that they made. You see a few of them in the trailer, but in the movies, it's just it captures it pretty well. Although there are some parts where they do a little bit of the shaky cam thing where you can't tell what's going on. There were a couple times where they just lingered a little bit too much with the shaky camera, following one part of the animal, and it was just too much for me. It was I can't really tell what's going on right here. I feel kind of out of it. Something also that you already learned from the trailers is that there are all these titans that are awakening around the earth. There's something 17 and counting of all these crazy animals that are being awakened. And at first, Godzilla is supposed to be the alpha, but then, this other monster rises up and he challenges him, and it's supposed to be a big rivalry. And also at that time, they're introducing all these other, couple of these 17 different monsters. And at times, it just gets to be a little bit too much. It seems like it would be the stakes are a lot higher, or you feel more connected to it if they focus on a couple, or maybe Godzilla and 3, and they didn't have say 17 others, and they were really able to focus on what these ones can do and the kind of destruction that they have. But they kind of just escalated it to 17. There's 17 of these things, and then when it comes to the big fight scene, you can only incorporate a few of them And then it's like, weren't there like 17 of these things? And it kind of gets lost a little bit. In all, it kind of worked. They were able to focus pretty well on like a few of them, but I just thought that including 17 seems like a bit much. And I really was expecting the movie to have a lot like longer fight scenes, you know, like Man of Steel. It's got like this 45-minute like ending fight scene where buildings are collapsing and just like this whole city is being decimated, and cities get jacked up in this movie. That definitely happens. But from the trailers, I expected the movie to just be like a long, like hour and a half of just monsters fighting each other. And I was actually surprised by how much they were able to break them up. And it didn't seem like they lasted like super, super long. I mean, it is the point of the movie, so there are a lot more fight scenes than, say, another movie. But I would say just for as long as like they run and like the attention span goes, I felt like they broke it up a lot more than I thought they would, and I thought that was a better thing that they did. There's this one part of the movie where this kind of environmentalist subplot kind of spews out of one of the characters, and it's met with like, what the heck, like, you're really okay with this? And I'm like, I'm on their boat. It's like, really? Like, that's fine? And I just felt like they opened it up to be, a bigger concern for the humans and like a better subplot for them, but then they kind of like drop it. It felt like when they're writing the script and they're drafting it, it's like, now you got to cut out the fat of the draft to like slim this thing up and like focus it in on what you want to say. And I felt like this was something that they just kind of like tossed in there as like, oh, this is a marker for something we can do or maybe can cut out, but they kind of just left it there as kind of like a sore thumb. I felt like they were more focused on moving on to the big monster tussle at the end of the movie is like their big goal, not really focusing in on like thinking through a thought process like this. So Godzilla, King of the Monsters, it's just, a big monster action fight, and it's pretty entertaining to watch. I wouldn't say if you are looking for like a good night out to go watch it, but if you like watching big things fight each other, go see it. Go see the movie. I'm going to give Godzilla, King of the Monsters a 6.5 out of 10. So the movie's just a purely entertaining spectacle of monsters fighting each other and destroying buildings, and yeah, a lot of the human stuff they don't really follow through with, or they kind of just move from plot device to plot device and don't really have any sort of aim, it feels like. But yeah, it's enjoyable for the action. Those are the most interesting parts, I guess you would say. But yeah, whatever you guys thought about the movie, let me know below. I'll converse with you, I'll talk with you. But yeah, if you could subscribe, if you can hit the notification button, you can see all of my new videos, and I'll be coming out with some very soon. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.